Elizabeth, hello. I am so excited to be seeing you in person. We follow each other on Instagram.
Yeah.
I Before we officially begin and I start asking you questions, can you give me one sentence of what is the favorite thing about what it is you do that you love?
That's a great question. The most rewarding thing, there's two actually. So when you speak on social media, you're kind of talking into a void and you get comments and stuff like that, but it's hard to really know the impact that you're making. Like, did they really watch the whole video? Did they just scroll past, the first second? And so when people approach me in real life, whether it's here or at a party or at Starbucks, like people come up to me and say, "Are you Elizabeth from California?" And I'm like, "Yes, I am." And like that is very rewarding because you know that it's getting out there. The message is getting out to who needs to hear it. The second thing that's been the most rewarding is more exciting than flipping a Democrat to a Republican is a pro-choice voter to a pro-life one.
Wow.
That's been the most rewarding.
Yeah. Well, as a former student leader who was in the March for Life for many years in DC, who did a lot of things, so I definitely understand what you're talking about. I want to get your reaction to a couple of things maybe that you've seen or experienced here at AmFest, at TPUSA's AmFest in Phoenix, Arizona, where we find ourselves,
Yeah.
is did you listen to Ben Shapiro's speech last night?
Yes, I did.
Can I get just a gut check reaction of how did you feel? What were your thoughts? What he was talking about, the different things he talked about, the people he mentioned, the points that he made. What were your feelings when you were listening to Ben speak last night?
Pride. I felt that our voice was represented very well, not just as a Jew, but as someone who is watching what's happening in the conservative movements in America by some of the voices that are here and or who have been here before, who got their start here. And the fact that he mentioned everyone by name, I think, was really important because you need to identify the same way I talk when I talk about, dealing with liberals. You need to identify the threat. You need to identify the danger. And if you can't name it, you can't name the people, then you don't know where it's coming from and you can't defend against it. And I think the fact that he named them and he was coming clearly from a place of protecting Erica Kirk and her family, protecting Charlie Kirk's legacy and the organization of Turning Point, and also the conservative movement, because what's happening is very dangerous. And I think the biggest criticism that I've heard about it today, that's not nonsense, is that it was divisive and that we're supposed to be here coming together, and that it was, the first speech after Erica spoke, and that, it was divisive. Well, my response to that is the division is coming from the people who he was identifying. He is observing and and identifying the source of the division. Doing that is not divisive. Doing that is calling out danger. And so that's how I saw it. And I thought that it was really important to observe also the reaction in the room to his remarks versus Tucker's at the end of the night. For Ben, he got a standing ovation. He was very warmly received by the 30,000 people in the room, whereas it was not the case with Tucker. I debated whether or not I even wanted to be in the room and listen to his speech, and I stayed because I wanted to feel the vibes.
And what were
And
the vibes?
the
I want to hear the
vibes
vibes.
the vibes were not good for him. They were it was quiet. It was a lot more quiet during his speech. And I noticed also that streams of people were walking out throughout the whole thing. I thought that the tone of it was very defensive, and he was, as he does, he gets very like passionate, but he was screaming the entire speech. So I think all of that, says a lot about where the future of the movement is going. And I think that it was a very positive development, I would say.
I think as leaders of the conservative movements, I think it's not only Ben's rights, but also like you said, he has a duty to be able. We need to conserve what it is to be a conservative, and that is his job. That is our jobs
Yeah.
as not only we stand in front of microphones, in front of screens, and we teach and we educate and we do all this is because we want to conserve something special and important to us. And those that don't share that can find other ways that they can have their own platforms and have their own voices. But I think it's important what you said about checking the vibes.
Yeah.
I really like that. As what were other things throughout Amfest? This is the second day, as we said. What are other vibes that you've gotten while being here? It can be positive, negative. What are some things that have jumped out, stood out from you as you walk through this amazing expo center, media row, talk to people? What has been some things that have jumped out at you?
So there's a lot of people that are here for the first time. And when I was walking back from my hotel last night, there was a group of girls behind me in their 20s. And one of them was saying, like, I just discovered Charlie Kirk, 6 months before he died. And so his impact is still, growing even after his death. And the fact that all of these people are here is just a testament to that legacy that he's leaving. And I also, was truthfully, I was nervous. Being here, like, as a Jewish woman and, like, very proudly Zionist, and that's part of, my social media brand as well. And I'm the chair of Jewish community engagement for the California Republican Party. I was nervous, but actually I feel good. I feel way better actually than I did over the summer, which is when this kind of started within the organization, this growing, open hostility towards Israel and towards Jews. But I am much more comfortable here this weekend than I was over the summer.
And I think a lot of my Jewish friends, I'm not Jewish, I'm a proud Christian American, but a lot of my Jewish friends were also worried for me because
Yeah.
they're like, that you're a very outspoken Zionist, you love your Jewish friends, you love Israel, but at the same time you're very supportive of America, American values, conservatism. They were like, are you sure? And that's when being here, I realized, and something that you said was social media is not real life. In social
Yeah.
media, we get the perception that the
Yeah.
conservative movement is dying. It's turning its back on Israel. The Jewish people they hate. They're anti-Semites, etc. When you come here live, you see it's very
Don't
different
feel
on the
it.
ground.
Yeah.
Very different. You just talked to Omer Shentov, the
Yeah.
the the release hostage. He spoke. How did you feel seeing him speak in the main room and seeing him walk these rows?
Again, pride. Pride for my country, pride for America, and pride as a Jew, because, they again, there's this reputation that the organization was getting, and they had, a tribute to October 7th. And in that video that they played before Omer went on, what I noticed is they explicitly draw the connection between what happened in Israel on October 7th, the anti Semitism that's going on in America, and why that is a U.S. interest issue. So the being supportive of Israel and America first are not mutually exclusive, and they are not in conflict. One supports the other. They're consistent, especially because, they're both founded on Judeo-Christian values. It's the same exact thing. Our economies are similar. Our military strategic interests in the region are similar. They are companions, complementary interests, not in opposition. And so the fact that, that was pointed out, the fact that, President Trump releasing the hostages is a focal point of the conference, the fact that he was here, the fact that this booth is here, like all of those things are the evidence that we need to see that we do have a place here. It is important, and we need to defend our ground here. There's a lot of people who sat it out because in a boycott, which I also understand. But being here, I'm happy that we all showed up.
As a Christian, I'm just gonna tell you, you just preached. So that that was amazing. As we close up, how can people follow you, get in touch with you? How do people see what it is that you're doing,
Yeah.
and the amazing work you're doing on social
Thank
media and other
you. Thank
places?
you. So on Instagram, I'm at Elizabeth from California. And on X, I'm E_Barcohana in both places. If you just put Elizabeth Barcohana, you'll find me. And what I'm working on right now in LA and in California is voter registration, teaching people about why it's important to align your registration with how you vote, because there's a mismatch there for a lot of people. For example, in LA County, almost 500,000 people who are not registered Republican voted for President Trump.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot
Wow.
of
Yeah.
people. So getting those in alignment. And the other thing is getting Republicans more comfortable with voting early by mail.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for joining us
Absolutely.
today.
Thank you
I'm
for
so
having me.
excited
So
that you were here
happy
to
to
join
meet
us.
you
Thank you.
too.
Thank you.